All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get us started today. Thanks for joining us on the marketing meetup for Content Fresh. Cody, I'm excited to have you with us today. Cody
Yeah,
is our
excited to be here.
representative. Cody is our representative with Cloud Campaign, the software force behind the Content Fresh Cloud. So welcome and join us. Tell us a little bit about what you want to tell us today and about yourself and your role at Cloud Campaign.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here today. You guys are in great hands with Deb. My role here is really exactly this. So I am the head of enterprise accounts here with Cloud Campaign. So I work with our most like strategic partnerships, enterprise relationships, and really the individuals that are looking to have that kind of next level partnership with what we're doing over here. Anything that I can do to assist and help grow and transform the future of this product. My background is very mixed. Sales, marketing. I was the head of sales with Lenovo Data Center Group for a little bit, and then decided I wanted to get more technical. So I kind of self-taught myself networking and server engineering, and was on their solution architect team for about 2 years, designing data centers and building out cloud storage solutions. And really then kind of wanted to mix it all together, shake it up, and bring kind of the marketing and sales focus with technology together. And that's when I found what Cloud Campaign is doing and bringing to the table. So yeah, now I run and help kind of facilitate enterprise relationships here. I know that the core focus today is just to spend a little bit of time inside of the product, understand what Content Fresh brings to the table for you, and how we can maybe understand and interpret the world of organic social analytics. So I think that's really the main focus, is taking a look at what do the numbers mean. Numbers are just numbers without clarity, and especially in the world of organic social, it's a much different type of number in the marketing world. And so we can spend a little bit of time today also just talking about the potential impact to creative strategy that it's going to bring to the table. So I think that's the hope. We'll leave some time for questions at the end of today's session too. But Deb, happy to dig in and take it away if we're ready.
That sounds good. I know that there were a lot of changes that they made to the analytics earlier this year, and you've shared some interesting stories about how they're changing access to what Facebook covers with Facebook likes and fans and all that. So I'm real interested in your demo today, and just cover some of the things that are new as well.
Of course, yeah, that is one of the ongoing, I say challenges, but I guess it's really just interesting in the business that we operate, is that we constantly have to be on top of these APIs, right? How our system communicates with Facebook, LinkedIn, all the social platforms. And yeah, Deb, like you said, they change things all the time. I can't even count the number of changes that Facebook has made in the last 14 days. And it's our job to stay on top of those from a technical perspective so that you all have a good experience in the tool. So let's jump in and take a look. So,
Just
hopefully, oh yeah.
Just a minute, Cody.
Oh, I just had a question.
Yeah.
Is there one platform that changes more than others, or do they all change with the same frequency?
That's a really good question. And unfortunately, I would say that Meta, from a reporting perspective, is still kind of the driving force. I would say, like, from an organic social perspective, they tend to have the most like robust analytics that other platforms are going to mirror. Now the other side of that story is even though LinkedIn is tailored towards business professionals, right? Facebook still has pages, which is intended for the business community. So they're really all kind of competing against each other in many ways. They're always trying to come up with different strategies and tips and tricks to be able to capture, well, the most amount of time spent. And in many ways, they're all battling for their unfair share of screen time, right? So what tends to happen is as soon as Facebook or Instagram maybe makes a change to the creator or business community, then all of a sudden LinkedIn follows, and Twitter is kind of doing their own thing, and TikTok is still trying to honestly mature themselves in this space a little bit, especially for the business community. So what tends to happen is just well, competitive driven sporadic changes. So our team has to be constantly keeping up with API documents and materials. I have an entire dedicated team, a full staffed team of full stack engineers that is literally their entire job is just managing changes and trying to get on top of them. I don't know if that quite answered your question, but it's pretty all over the place, to be honest.
That's good.
Yeah. But just know that that's one of the services that we provide in the partnership that we have with Deb is just ensuring that this product is always ahead of pace, ahead of schedule, and on top of new trends and what's available in this market. So, when looking at organic social, one of the first things that I kind of talk about, especially for anyone coming from the world of marketing, the world of finance, anyone with like a numbers background, is that one thing that can be tough is sort of the vagueness of organic social. Organic metrics aren't necessarily here to show you the exact level of like ROI, the exact monetary or dollar conversion amount. They're really here to be able to show us more of, hey, how engaging is our content? What communities tend to be the most interested in what we're, the stories that we're telling? And from a platform perspective, that's really what we want to assist with is being able to take numbers and understand what logical next steps am I able to take for who I'm communicating with and the types of content that are in front of them, right? Do I understand my target market? Do I have the information to back the demographic of who we're trying to maybe promote product or services to? So in the platform, oops, I figured this would happen eventually. Of course, live demos, security perspective, I'm only allowed to be inside of Deb's account for a certain amount of time. So let me just get back in really quick, and I should be good for another 45 minutes or so. Deb, I'll have to actually have you make me a user of your system someday, so this doesn't
Right now?
No, it'll be okay. I'll log back in, and then I'll be good for another 45 minutes or so. It's actually just a security thing we put in place to make sure that, well, no one is in your account that shouldn't be.
We could.
All right. Okay. And we're back. So that's really what I'll be spending time on today is really trying to dig into, like, what stories can we learn from the data that is surfaced inside of this platform. And of course, an explanation of the nitty-gritty. This update here, the account level analytics, I'll talk about the philosophical differences between the two data sets. But this is the newest portion of the platform. It's going to have kind of the most up-to-date industry best practices and standards as far as what type of data and analytics that we should be understanding and looking at in regards to who's engaging with the content. So backing it up a little bit, if you've been in the platform before and played with the analytics section, you're probably may be familiar with this page and the look and feel of this page. This was previously the only implementation of analytics that we really had. So now on the left-hand side, if you drop down analytics, the first two things that you're going to see are account level and post level. And both of these tell a different story in the social landscape, both of which very, very important. So we're gonna start here with post-level analytics. What this is doing is trying to give a understanding of how the newly posted content or the unique content that's posted is doing inside of a reporting period. So when you're looking at data, maybe natively on Facebook and Instagram or LinkedIn, they are going to show data in two different ways, either post or account. So for post data, right now I'm looking from February 26th to March 12th. What this is doing is just showing you how the content that was uniquely posted during that time is performing. It's not looking at anything else. So if there was a post from last year that got a bunch of clicks during this reporting period, it's going to exclude that from the report, right? This is just the new content. And what we get here is the ability to understand how new efforts are moving the needle. Maybe there's some older content that's getting a lot of traction, and we want to be able to reference that and understand, okay, what was different about that? But at the post level, what you're going to be able to see is, okay, how many unique posts were published? How many total impressions did this campaign effort generate? Right. Of course, common things like likes, comments, shares, clicks. If you guys have any questions on these metrics, just let me know. But all we're doing here is just trying to show you in a specific reporting period, whatever you choose up top, what are the best performing unique posts across these platforms. Deb, I appreciate you letting me take a look at your workspace here.
Yes.
For this reporting period, Deb's top posts were these three Facebook posts here, right? And we can get an understanding of how many likes, comments, shares each of these posts bring to the table. Now, our system actually uses a custom ranking system for top posts. We weigh things like comments, shares, and clicks way higher than just views, right? Those are called engagements versus just impressions. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but we heavily weigh and consider real engagement to be much more of a sign of a successful post than just how many total views, if those views didn't drive a key engagement. And we'll talk about the importance of that in the next section. But right now, I'm just kind of laying the foundation of what are these reports even looking at. So post level, it's just trying to give you insight to how the unique posts in a publishing period performed. Now, that's not the full story, right? Because as marketers, we understand that social media tends to be all about the long game, establishing and nurturing relationships, being consistent, having a consistent brand voice for a long period of time. So that is what we're trying to show here with the account level data set. When you're in this portion of the screen, we don't care about when posts were published. What this part of the application is showing is during a custom reporting period. Right now, we're just looking at March to date. We're going to look at all traffic that hits these pages, all likes, all views, all comments, all shares, even if it was on posts from 2 years ago, because we want to be able to help show the story of the success of content over time, as social media can be. It's really the long game, right? Deb, I know we've talked about this before, the importance of just posting consistency and staying at it and engaging with your followers. So this is really the main portion of the platform that I would drive for just purely understanding numbers. The great thing about what we've built is that you're able to do custom comparison periods. So I could take a look at how is the first week of March doing compared to the first week of February? Or at the end of this quarter, at the end of March, I could say, hey, how is Q1? How did that do against Q4 of last year? Right? And continue to scale that out. Now, Deb alluded to this earlier. Yeah, there are some changes. There are going to be some changes in how specifically Facebook is managing followers and likes for Facebook pages. As you may know, depending on which version of a Facebook page you have right now, some pages allow you to like, and some pages allow you to follow, and some pages even let you do both, depending on which version of the Facebook page it is. So to make that a little bit simpler, Facebook is going to be changing their reporting and the reporting that they are sending to us to be the concept of Facebook fans. If you're not familiar with a fan, essentially what that does is when you like the post or the page, excuse me, you become a fan. And one of the main reasons that Facebook is kind of pushing this model is because your friends on Facebook are able to see the things that you are a fan of, right? Like liking it and becoming a fan is kind of that personal testament and statement of, I back this brand. This brand is important to me, or this is an important product in my life. So that other Facebook users are engaging with your profile, they'll be able to see the things that you are kind of taking that stance on. And what we hope and really believe is that this is going to actually go a long way in potentially driving more of a focus on Facebook pages instead of all of the other things that users can choose to spend their time on.
This is
What was that?
I'm just curious. So likes are becoming fans and
When you
followers
like a
distinctive from fans.
correct. Yeah, exactly. So it's still going to say like the page, but the metric that Facebook is going to consider that is going to be a fan. And technically, so is following the page. They're gonna include that as a fan. But a follow is they're changing the dynamic, because follow just means I want to see the posts in my feed. But a like is that like public sentiment of this is a brand that I back. This is a brand that's important to me. So a user could choose to follow something and see it in their feed, but not necessarily like it and have that personal story. So this is the metric that people or that Facebook rather is going to be pushing. So that does mean that we are no longer going to be representing followers over time. Followers is just going to be a like point in time kind of screenshot. You'll just be able to see how many followers you currently have, and the fans is going to be the metric that you can see growth over time if you're doing the comparison reports. I know it's kind of confusing, trust me. I had to do some additional research on it just last night in preparation for today. This update just went out 2 days ago on our end, so it's new to us too. But if there's any questions that come up, just let me know on that, okay?
Is there, I mean, I know the platforms are different, but the Facebook to Instagram and now Threads, is there any connection between the three of them? So or do you imagine that they're going to not merge them, but from an analytics back end, like if I have an Instagram page and a Facebook page, will they end up getting represented by the same metrics?
Great question. Really awesome question. The answer is yes and no. So it will actually, when we get down, and we'll get to this in a bit, you're actually ahead of the game. When you're looking at impressions versus reach, that is going to be the story that you're going to want to look at. Reach being a distinct individual So if a user has their Instagram account connected to their Facebook page and things are managed together in Account Center, even if they see it on Instagram and Facebook, if we know they're connected, we're going to count that as a single individual and a single unique impression. Yeah, I'll get into that. But yes, for Facebook and Instagram, things like followers, likes, things that are at the account level are going to be separate, but follower-based data and impression-based data can be a unique metric to measure the success of a single individual. Threads, who knows? Honestly, who knows? There isn't an API for Threads right now, so there is zero way for a business-based and professional-based application to connect to that platform. And honestly, I think Meta is still or Instagram is still really figuring out what Threads is going to be. It feels very much like a proof of concept at the moment, but who knows? Who knows in the next couple months what might happen. Okay, so just looking at this, right, we can show you individual to the social platform, how many followers, follower growth over time. This is interactive, right? We can look at just specific platforms. If you want to look at just unique social accounts, you can make those selections up here, or taking a look at the date range that we're in. Coming back and circling back to this one with your question, one of the things that we get asked about all the time is the concept of impressions and reach, right? So this data set is really interesting. What we're going to be looking for here is how many raw visits and raw views versus how many unique people are seeing that content. And we can get an understanding of that by platform. So really what we're looking for is, that shows us how many average views per person am I seeing? All right. Are people seeing the content 3 times each, 4 times each, right? There's a debate in the community about which number is best. Personally, I would like to see, as many views as possible from an individual. But the most important thing is really going to be, is it driving engagement, right? Views without action don't necessarily create the steps in the sales cycle or the product adoption cycle that we may be looking for in this world. So that's really the next thing we want to be able to show is by platform, how many engagements are we getting? And how many engagements are we getting per view or impression? So you'll be able to see, again, in a comparative way over time, which platforms are driving my reactions, comments, shares, and clicks. And again, just be able to sort with that, kind of play with the graphs in real time to get an understanding of what platforms are also uniquely the most beneficial. Now, all of this comes down to what I would consider to be the most important modern social media metric, and that's engagement rate. So pretty simple metric, right? What we're looking for here is how many views, or rather how many impressions is it taking to convert a like, a click, a comment, a share, right? Is it taking me 1,000 views to get 5 comments? Hopefully not, right? But this is going to be a sometimes brutally honest interpretation of how often are people engaging with our comment? Are they taking the next step? Are we having impactful call to actions and tangible call to actions inside of our social publishing? So this is a great way to be able to just see how many views does it take per platform to get an engagement. And Deb, your numbers are really good. A Facebook engagement rate of 2 is phenomenal. You're basically getting an engagement for 1 out of every 2 views. That's vastly ahead of the norm in this space. Now, a great place to be able to look and see. And really what I want to talk about today is, what if my numbers aren't there? What if it is taking 100, 200, 300 views? That's okay, right? We just need to know what steps and tweaks to be able to make in our creative process to be able to try to create some better adoption. So thanks for sitting with the kind of the more boring part of today, which is just here are the numbers, right? Again, the platform is here to guide you, and I'm happy to go through that. But are there any questions on this portion so far?
So I have another quick question. So is the impressions and the views, so if Deb publishes content on LinkedIn and Facebook, and I see it in both places, is that counted as a, like, I'm one unique person, or is that now two unique views?
That's going to be two unique views, but so one, yeah, really great question. So impressions are just views. It's the same thing. So you could go on to one of Deb's posts on Instagram and rewatch or look at the post 100 times, and that will count as a
Single.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
because it's the same account looking at it. Now, if you look at it on like LinkedIn as well, we're still going to be another unique reach, right? Because it's a separate account that doesn't talk to people. Do you have a question there, Deb? Sorry.
No, we just, we broke the connection for just a slight second. So you're back.
Oh, okay. Do I need to repeat anything?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, just think of impressions as raw views, even if multiple impressions are coming from the same individual.
The engagement rate is impressions on a platform that lead to engagement on that platform.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You basically take your total number of impressions and you divide it by your total number of engagements. And that's going to show you on average, how many views does it take to convert the next step in the social process of driving an engagement.
Thank you.
Okay. Now let's dig into some of the more fun stuff. You know, I promised that the platform is here to help and guide. So maybe we haven't taken a look at some of these things in the system, but one of the most fun things I think in organic social is playing with the different types of content and the different post styles, right? And getting an understanding of, do videos do better? Does asking a question do better? Do hashtags really matter for my audience, right? So as a system, right, Content Fresh, the platform, the Content Fresh Cloud is going to scan and look at every physical post style that goes out from our platform, right? Deb posts a huge variety of content. So, right, every time that we see a different type of content, we will label it and give it a post type, right? So I can see post type 1 is an image post with a long caption containing hashtags and a link, right? So multiple variables in that post style. And again, right, we'll label all of these different post styles over time. Deb's been publishing out of the platform for a long time, so there's a lot of good, rich data here. What we're going to show you is how often are you posting certain styles of content. Post type 2 is a huge one for Deb. So is actually this other.
Are these automatically created? Like,
Yeah.
you fill these in? Like,
No.
Okay.
It's automatically
Okay.
noticed
Oh, cool.
or realized. Now, at the top of this page, Cody, it's Twitter. X, I guess, is selected. Does this change based on, like, so we get most of our engagement on either LinkedIn or my personal LinkedIn page, Facebook page?
It's all different per platform. That's
Yeah,
exactly
look,
right.
okay, there we go.
I should have called that out. So we're going to look at this by post type unique to each social platform as well.
Right.
So it'll give you a summary of data up top. For Deb, conveniently enough, long text posts are the type of posts that are performing better for you, which doesn't always happen. But again, there's differences unique to each types of followers. But historically, that post has driven 33.3% more engagement than the other types of posts. And again, the system is going to automatically scan for that. And every time a new post type is sent out, we're going to look for it. And then we can also show you the optimal posting time based off of that style of content. Now, also, just by the way, you don't have to manage this ever. You don't necessarily have to get in here and dig through it and figure out when to schedule content. If you're in the system playing with your own schedules and you're operating from the calendar, Deb, I promise I'm not going to actually schedule anything here. If you ever just take a post from the right-hand side here and just drag and drop it onto the calendar, which again, I won't do, the system's automatically going to scan it, figure out from the data that we have in the insights what post type it is, and then automatically schedule it at the best time to post. So very easy way to just do targeted posting and let the system get it in front of your audience at the time that we know is statistically best for it to be in front of them, again, based off of what style of post it is.
That's great.
I encourage you to come in here, take a look, get an understanding of have I mixed and played with other styles of content, or am I using maybe the 1 or to 3 pieces of content exclusively? It's also going to be able to show you the likes by post type. So if you've got a post type that ranks really high right here, but it isn't being utilized that often, just a little good insight to say, okay, well, this one actually is getting me the most traffic. I should potentially post content more similar in style to that one and drive it up the distribution amount. Some really cool data coming into community analytics here as well, right? Just getting an understanding of who are our followers, where are they coming from? Unfortunately, this data is becoming more and more limited, right? Maybe it's a good thing, right? I think Facebook has maybe tapped a little bit too much into information about what we're all doing with our lives. So some of this data has gone away a bit, but we can still show you what region is driving or what region your followers are from, their age range, the gender that they have associated on their profiles, and even sometimes, oops, let's go back, some cool information about what industries they're a part of as well. Sweet. Anyone been in here and checked out the community section before just to get an understanding of follower demographics by any chance? If not, it's here for you, right? Always good to understand where our followers are coming from, a little bit more insight about them, just to use that to become a little bit more targeted in our marketing.
Hey, Cody, what section did you say that was in? Community?
Yeah, under analytics, this is community.
Okay.
So going to show demographic data available for your followers.
Great, thank you.
Of course, of course. Last couple things from content strategy that I want to highlight are we do have hashtag reporting available too. Hashtags, of course, continue to be really important in organic, especially when trying to push for being discovered by new people, really specifically on Instagram, right? But what we can do is we can show you what hashtags are being utilized the most in your posting. And this is kind of a funnel, right? Versus which hashtags are statistically driving you the most views, and then which ones are driving the most actual engagement. So Deb, hashtag business owner, you're averaging 3 physical engagements per post. So statistically, when you use this hashtag, those posts get at least 3 likes, clicks, comments, or shares, which is awesome. It's also driving your most views and is your 4th most used hashtag. So it is converting at a really high level, even, you know, even for not being the one that is not necessarily used the most. So just really good data to be able to come in and see, okay, is there a trend behind what hashtags are driving the most success? we'll do that same sort of graphing comparison for the number of hashtags in a post. So you can ever see if using more or less hashtags has any statistical impact onto the performance of the content. Last but not least, this graph is very, very similar, and this is for content categories. If you're unfamiliar with the use of categories inside of your content library, Deb, I know I keep putting you on the spot here, but Deb truly is the gold standard of what content categories, how and they, really what they are in the platform. But these are ways for you to assign like thematic labels to the type of content that's being posted. So think about these as titles of your campaigns, or maybe product that you're trying to push, or a line of sales that you're trying to accomplish, or really whatever the purpose of even posting to social is, these are your categories. So Deb's got, of course, a category for Content Fresh Cloud. When she's promoting this product, you can categorize the content to that. And all of her other, evergreen, holidays, inspiration, SEO, services, right? So what we can use is, since we can track and see how content's performing, you can use this as a way to track the success of your campaigns. If I go back to analytics and look at it by category, I get that same information of what categories or what styles of content get used the most versus what is driving the most views and what gets the most engagement. So at the end of the day, this really just says what type and style or theme or service or business line are my followers most interested in seeing on my social channel. I would definitely, if you aren't today, use categories when creating your content. It's just going to enrich the type of data and help you better identify what themes your audience is the most interested in seeing and engaging with. That's kind of the top to bottom report. I know we went through a lot. There's a lot of data in the system, but a lot of goodness when it comes to just helping us create more optimized content as well. So I'm also here for just any further questions if you guys have.
Yeah, does anyone have any questions about the platform itself? How you use a feature or build a piece of content even?
Yeah.
One thing I was curious about, Cody, when you're looking at our numbers in the analytics again, when you're looking at that top page, yes, this one, when you get to there, this one is the
This top.
account level. And this chart right here, this is including all of those that are listed below, right? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Google Business.
Yeah, we're able to select this. I may need to, if something's not coming in for you, we may need to just refresh the data a little bit. But yes, this should be for all of the social accounts linked.
So the question I have is, I have 474 Facebook fans, but what about the additional followers that are on Twitter or LinkedIn? LinkedIn is just my personal profile, so I don't think it counts everyone. So this view is just for Facebook?
It might be what's coming in. So TikTok doesn't give any reporting for accounts with less than 100 followers is the minimum follower account to get things, data sent to us from TikTok. And we're actually working on a TikTok upgrade behind the scenes right now. So there may be some delay in getting some TikTok data in. LinkedIn, talk about changes from the beginning of this call. We also are in the middle of an API upgrade for them too. There's a new version coming just next week. So LinkedIn personal accounts, at least right now, are not reporting data, but should be in the next couple weeks.
Oh, that's great. I know
Yeah.
I put a lot. I haven't even created the business profile for Content Fresh because we're just such a small company. I've just personally noticed that if you don't have more than 5 employees, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have a LinkedIn business profile.
Yep.
So that's what we're doing now. But Tell us some of else what's coming up. You had mentioned some of the changes and upgrades that you've got coming up. What's on the roadmap?
Oh man, so many things. We could do an entire hour plus long session on what
Only
we're
got 10
working
more
on.
minutes.
Yeah. Okay. I'll summarize from a high level, but ourselves as a company this year, we have three main pillars that we are going to be really focusing on. That's going to drive everything related to product and exclusive partnerships like this. Again, everything that we do over here, we want to get Deb's understanding and feedback on before we push anything live, right? That's core to us in these kind of enterprise style partnerships that we have. But number one pillar is going to be continuing to take advantage of AI. If you haven't seen the current AI integrations that we have, I would absolutely check it out. We have a caption writer for you built into the system. I will fully admit to using it literally all the time as a not that creative of a person. I know Deb can whip out captions and be creative all the time, and so with the team, but I literally cannot. So if you haven't played with it before, when you're creating content and you're writing a caption, you can use this button called Caption AI. This is our partnership with ChatGPT. So you can use this system to automatically write a unique caption for every social media account that you're publishing to. So we are going to continue to be optimizing that, making it better. And we're also playing with some potential partnerships for AI-driven content creation, images, potential videos. So look forward to that. We're also going to be building a lot more robust processes in the content library. In a couple of weeks, you're going to see a complete redesign of this entire interface just to make it a little bit more clean to utilize. And then we'll be building out a cropping tool in the system. So you'll be able to use our tool to resize content native to all of the different platforms. I don't know how much I can continue to give away. Yeah, that one's going to be great. AI will continue to push. We're also working on approvals process upgrades right now. We're redesigning the UX of that. And then, you know, we're talking about a lot of different functionality. We want to be able to allow for better recycling workflows using different media for the same post. So you could create one post, send one picture to Facebook, one picture to Instagram, but use the same caption maybe. So we're going to be changing how media is utilized. Gosh, lots of things coming. We have, I think last time I looked at our roadmap, there were 98 items on there that we were still voting through. So it's going to be a busy year, but you know, look forward to a lot of new stuff in the product this year.
It's great. Well, is anyone else? You guys have any questions for Cody?
Great.
Well, I really appreciate your time, Cody. We're going to wrap it up here. Thanks for joining so much. So
yeah, sorry to accidentally talk the whole session. I know I said I was going to be brief and short. Not a strong suit of mine, so hopefully I didn't bore everyone too much today. But appreciate the time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cody. Bye.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.